Sixth graders, if you are watching this, it means you're getting the read aloud and maybe a little bit of extra help with the Obama's Take on Standardized Tests article. So I have annotated this for you so you can see what strong annotations look like. What I did on this for you today, you will do on your own with the next two articles that you're going to read tomorrow. So follow along. You can add annotations if you want, but pay close attention to mine. I'm not going to be scrolling through it up here because I want you looking at your paper that has my marks on it. So Obama's take on standardized tests. All right, I can already read this and infer, you'll see my annotation, that Obama will share his point of view on standardized tests in this article. But remember, we're reading to write about what the author's claim is, not just Obama's claim. So let's not get confused. Washington, D.C. Students, parents, and teachers complain that kids spend too much time taking tests. Just how many hours do they spend each year? A, between 10 and 15 hours, B, between 20 and 25 hours, C, between 30 and 35 hours. So I guessed B and realized that this is a hook. The author is hooking the reader here to the topic with a question. The correct answer is B, a new study found. The Council of the Great City Schools looked at the amount of testing in 66 of the nation's big city school districts. The council is a group made up of districts in big cities. Also, before you flip the page, write a little 1 at the bottom. I forgot to number these pages. You'll need it later when you're giving your evidence. Then flip. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, do that. And then renumber the next couple pages. See how it says 1 and 2? Those should actually say 2 and 3. So fix that as you go to the next page. All right, testing's toll on time. A study of 66 big city school districts finds students spend an average of 20 to 25 hours taking standardized tests each academic year. So I read the title of this bar graph and can see it says average testing time in hours per year by grade level. So take a look at that bar graph right there. And my annotation says nonfiction text feature, bar graph. Remember, there's all those different features of nonfiction text, and this shows how much time students spend on text in each grade. Let's keep reading. The study found that the average public school 8th grader spends about 1 out of every 43 hours of classroom time on testing. Between preschool and 12th grade, students took about 112 standardized exams. These tests were required by the federal government, states, or local districts. The study looked at the time spent actually taking the tests. It did not include the time that students spent preparing for them. It also didn't even include just regular day-to-day classroom quizzes and tests in subjects like reading or math. The study was released Saturday. So stop and jot. Central idea, what I read the last few paragraphs, is that from pre-K through 12th grade, students spend a lot of time on testing. President wants limits on testing. President Barack Obama responded to the study's results. Schools should limit testing, he said. So I read that and I know that's Obama's claim, right? His argument. He's arguing that schools need to limit testing or have less of it. Students should spend no more than 1 out of every 50 school hours on it. The president said the government was partly responsible for making testing such a big deal. Government officials should work with states, schools, and teachers to make sure that we're not obsessing about testing, he said. So the central idea I stopped and jotted was that Obama says kids test too much, but a lot of it is the government's fault. The government still says that yearly tests are necessary, so yearly meaning at least every year. The tests make sure that schools are teaching correctly and that students are learning what they need to. Also, testing would continue under the No Child Left Behind law. It was written in 2002, but now lawmakers in Washington, D.C. are updating it. No Child Left Behind was intended to improve all schools and required students to be tested each year in math and reading. So my annotation, I infer that when this law was passed, that's when testing started happening more and getting pretty crazy. In a video, Obama said that learning is about so much more than just getting the right answer. The video was posted on Facebook. So I also noted here that tests are still important. There is a purpose, right? It says in the last paragraph that if you take 1 per year, it's important to make sure that it holds schools accountable for teaching the right things and kids for learning. But Obama's saying there's too much. Common Core added more. The department promised to work with states and schools to cut down the time spent on testing. So I noticed a tone shift right here. I feel a lot more hopeful and positive once I read this. So I noted that. This past spring, students spent even more time taking tests. These were based on what are called Common Core standards. They outline what a child should know and should be able to do in each grade. So guys, when you think Common Core standards, when us, your teachers, get up here every day to teach you, what we look at is this list called Common Core standards, and it tells us what you're supposed to be able to know by the time you finish that grade. Those standards decide what we teach. So I stop and jotted the central idea right here. No child left behind law and Common Core standards are the two reasons why there is more testing. That's a really important key idea. Actually, go ahead and circle that, highlight it, put a star next to it. That's the biggest takeaway I have from this so far. The council also found that most tests were required in 8th and 10th grades. Preschoolers, kindergartners, and first graders took the fewest tests. Also, 4 and 10 districts had to wait several months for test results. They waited between 2 and 4 months before getting test results. The delay meant that teachers began the new school year not knowing where a student was having a problem. So I jotted down that waiting for test results actually makes them less useful and purposeful. For example, you guys just got back your LEAP and your PARCC scores the other day. And so you started 6th grade without us as your teachers getting to look at that and see where we struggled and what we should teach this year to make up. When test scores don't come back until so late, they don't really help teachers teach better. So what you have to do to finish today is this box at the bottom. So the prompt for the week, remember, you are going to compare and contrast the author's claim in the 3 articles we're reading this week. Sorry, it says both articles right there. Go ahead and X that out and write 3. And today we just read one of the articles. Explain how the authors support their claims. Make sure to give strong evidence and explanations. So answer number 1, what is the author's claim in Obama's take on standardized tests? Jot that down, unpause once you think you figured it out. And then 2, how does he support this claim? So go back to your notes from the beginning of the day about different things that authors do to support a claim and jot down your thoughts right there. Unpause when you're done. And then for number 3, underline any evidence that supports your answer to the 2 questions above. Because when you go ahead and build your essay at the end of the week, questions number 1 and number 2 I gave you right here are going to be really important for building that essay. You're basically going to make a rage out of this. So go ahead and find your evidence right now. You can even copy down evidence under number 3 if that makes it easier, because I know this paper is marked up a lot. When you are done, it wouldn't be a bad idea to reread the article, add some of your annotations, or take out your independent reading book.